All right. Hey, welcome in, everybody. Another episode of Shepherding Wellness Podcast here with Indy, and we have a super fun one to get into today. But before we hop in and tell everybody what the topic is, if they haven't already seen the title, just want to shout out everyone that gave to the new Rodecaster Pro 2. We have it set up right now, and I'm just so excited because we have some awesome couples that we're going to get interviewing, and so just thanks everyone so much for who gave and supported the pod. Such a blessing, and just shout out Jesus. Like, what in the world? Like, I'm just so stoked to.
I'm baffled.
This is our first time shooting with the new mics. And
I know.
Hopefully it sounds so much better. I know our old Rode Goes that we were having to use, and we had the ones that we had some super cheap ones, like literally $20 ones that we had set up for a while. And anytime Indy would move it around or bump her drink or whatever, it'd be like,
which
like
I
so
didn't
loud
even
on
notice. I didn't notice, but
Indy's microphone etiquette. She was just like, here, do we?
I just like to get comfortable and,
But now we're good. Now you can give it a try. Give it a whirl. Wow, look at that.
Wow.
Wow. All right.
No, these are great. I am super stoked and can't wait to interview people.
Yeah. Well, let's just pray over this one. Jesus, thank you so much for his time. Thank you for Indy. Thank you for just her awesome mind and the way you're going to keep us on task today with what we have to unearth. And I pray that it'd be a blessing to everyone that listens, that we'd walk in more freedom from this. And just have our eyes set on you even more. Amen.
Amen.
So we're talking about entertainment. Entertainment can be a wide variety of items. It started out with really just storytelling as the origin of entertainment. People would tell folklore or fables or mythical legends, starting at our earliest records of hieroglyphics is we have ideas of just storytelling and fiction.
Or just the entertainment in the Bible, for the kings, gestures.
Yep.
Is that what they're called? Gestures?
Sure. I don't know. But I wanted to first kind of break down the word entertainment. It comes from Latin origin. Inter it means to among, and then tenere means to hold. And so the idea is to hold together, to maintain, or to keep occupied.
I just don't like that.
So it holds your attention.
To hold. Wait, what was that again? Back up.
To hold together or maintain or keep occupied. And the idea with this is we were really, when we were talking about wanting to shoot this pod, is because me and Indy have had a lot of transformation as we've given up secular entertainment. Mm-hmm. But it can sound so dicey because it's all secular music is bad, or don't watch any Disney movies because it's demonic, or it can what's the word I'm looking for? It can come across as very dogmatic, which we're not wanting to do with this. So Correct. Just right off the bat, we're not saying all secular entertainment is completely demonic, give all of it up. Our process with this was, I remember I was challenged by a friend, shout out Shane Paris, back in 2015 or something, to give up secular music for a while. I had never done that in my life, and secular music was a big part of my life. I mean, Eminem through high school, Eminem was influencing, was discipling me more than anyone else, which is horrible.
That's terrible. That's but I remember when I was given the Eminem CD too. I was in friend's basement, and they're here, and I was
or
put it in
Lil
my
Wayne,
Walkman, and I'm oh my gosh,
dude,
this is the best.
Lil Wayne, Drake, T-Pain, literally all just drinking or talking about smoking weed 24/7, and you wonder why.
It's so bad.
I get so addicted to weed, but anyway, it does form you, right? And so we were challenged to give up, and I remember when Shane originally challenged me, I'm bro, I don't even. He's the lyrics are so bad. How do you listen to that? And I'm dude, I don't listen to the lyrics. It's just for the beat, It's just to get me going at the gym.
You honestly don't even pay attention to what they're saying.
Subconsciously, you're being formed in the background, right? Yeah. And things are happening under the surface that are molding you. And so we're supposed to have our Father in heaven is the potter, and we're the clay, and we're supposed to be being formed and molded by him. And that's why it says, don't be conformed to the ways of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Put on the mind of Christ. Set your mind on things above. All these verses that command us to put our attention on what is good, on what is pure, on what is life-giving. And when we don't do that, then our soul is being tainted. Our soul is being perverted. Our soul is being is allowing toxicity in. The eyes are the gates of the soul, the lamp of the body. The eyes are the lamp of the body. And so what we're intaking through our eyes and what we're ingesting through our ears is corrupting our being.
Yeah.
And
Matthew 6:22, the eye is the lamp of the body. So then if your eye is clear, your whole body will be full of light.
Yeah.
But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light that is in you is darkness, how great is the darkness?
Yeah.
That verse is so trippy.
Wow.
You know?
That's trippy. Trippy is a good word for that. And think about that. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Yeah.
It's not what goes into the mouth that defiles a man, but what comes out of it. 2 Bible verses right there, right from Jesus. And it's like, so, okay, what's coming out? Think about when a song is stuck in your head, you're singing it, and you're like, well, I don't mean the lyrics, but that's what's defiling you.
It's honestly the beat for me.
It's the beat that does it.
Always the music in the background of it. And that's why, like, there for a while, I was like, I just got to remake the songs, you know? Like, I'm like, I just love it so much. It gets stuck in my head. Let me put some good words. But honestly, there's something.
Bro, put some good words. It's like we're right off Ave, which just like is constant traffic, and people like blare music on the street. Like middle of night, 2 a.m, me and Indy are sleeping, our heads are 20 feet from the road, and you'll just hear like, I'm in love with a homemaker. Change the lyrics. There you go. But like literally,
you really just do that? No.
It's just flashbacks of like, oh my gosh, dude. And it's crazy how you will not like, it is easy to forget, you know, Bible verses or whatnot, but man, forgetting songs that have those catchy beat that are to some sort of rhythm that.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of science behind it too. We've been watching a lot of documentaries and things.
Frequencies and.
Of the frequencies and just how like there's a worshipful state of music that you can have. And then there's like a demonic.
Yeah.
Like this whole, what was the documentary? I can't remember what it was called, but it was basically saying different notes and different tones can make a different emotion happen.
I mean, everybody knows that. Think about when a sad song comes on, you're like immediately kicked in.
Yeah. And I used to be that like mopey teenager that would listen to like punk and emo, but then a million other things too. And every time I listened to a different song, it would make me feel like I was in that
here's the
state.
deception, I think, is people think it's not influencing them that much. It's like, I just every once in a while, dude, it's influencing you. I remember one of our worst fights ever, because something that the Lord's kind of taken me to is I've been like rewriting some secular songs. Like the Lord will bring a song to mind. So the song Hallelujah by David or whatever his name is. But so I rewrote that song because the Lord like put it on my heart, and those lyrics are really bad when you think about it. Like tying David to a chair, like it's just like it. And if you look up the guy, so here's the thing: creativity is a gift from God. Mm-hmm. Creativity is worship. So when we create, when we paint, when we strum an instrument, when we sing with our voice, when we create a screenplay, we are giving worship to something. Something is being glorified through that. And so
whether it's like self.
Right. So we were created to give glory to God. That's the purpose. It says that the Son of Man came to earth. Jesus came to earth to bring glory to the Father. So like when he healed people, it was like so that the Father could be glorified. His actions were to give glory to the Father. And so then we are supposed to be disciples of Jesus. So everything we do is supposed to bring glory to and so when we're living a lifestyle that's bringing glory to the Father, we're protected.
Yeah.
When we are doing things that are dishonoring. And so that's where.
Or just even in obedience, like the Lord called you into that. Then it's like, okay.
And this is where we get caught up, because I was reading like a kid's book the other day to the girls, and it was talking about how Adam and Eve got kicked out of the garden because they disobeyed. And so it almost makes it seem as though it's like punishment, but it's so much deeper. Like God was saying so that they wouldn't reach out their hand and take the tree of life and become like immortal beings. So he had to like separate them from the tree of life because they had taken of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And so there's always like a reason why God gives the commandments that he does, and it's usually to protect us. It's because he has our best interests at heart. His ways are above our ways. His thoughts are above our thoughts. When we understand his statutes, they actually protect us. But what the enemy has done, he's corrupted and perverted people's minds to think that God is just an evil dictator or a moral, ruler that just has these like things that he's put into place to basically puppeteer us.
Yeah.
Which is just not the truth. And so a lot of times when we bring up entertainment and allowing secular entertainment in, it can sound dogmatic of like a believer being like, oh, well, you shouldn't listen to that because it's bad. Yeah. It's not because it's bad. It's because it's defiling you. And God wants you to be holy. That way you can live in the fullness of satisfaction and purification and bring glory to him. But then also life and life more abundantly. Like when everybody knows, like when you are like entertained by perversion, like think of like watching something perverted on TV or on your phone, how that affects your intimacy with your wife or whatnot.
Yeah,
and
or even just your thought life or how you function.
So all of it has a reason behind it. So I want to just I want to like plainly put that out there first. Everything that God commanded us has a reason. And so with me reimagining these secular songs and kind of wanting to redeem them for the Lord's glory, I like rewrote that Hallelujah song. And then I went to rewrite the Ordinary song. And because I'm like, I heard that song, it started playing. I was listening to a Christian playlist, and you know how when you come to the end of your playlist,
lots of Christians use it for their videos too, because it sounds cool.
Yeah. So Ordinary, you guys went, it's really like really catchy tune. It started playing after I had a Christian playlist playing. It was the end of the song, so then it'll start playing random music that's usually in the same genre. Well, I guess on Spotify or YouTube Music or whatever, they had that in a worship genre. It starts playing that, and I was like, oh, dang, this is a worship song? This is fire.
Yeah.
And I was listening to it, and then I started listening to words. I'm like, oh, my gosh, what is this? So then I had to look into it. I'm like, bro, these lyrics are demonic.
Well, what's it about?
It's like bowing at the edge of your knife. It's like, I worship at your sanctuary. It's him literally worshiping his girlfriend. And he says that's what he wrote it about. And it has all this angelic it has like this angelic like
and the
background
angels
music.
and the clouds are jealous what we have.
Yes.
Isn't that what happened with like the Nephilim in the Bible in the beginning, where like they were like, oh, they thought women were beautiful, so then they start.
Right.
So it is bad.
So it seems like, oh, well, it has angels in it, and it has kind of like this like chorus in the like this church chorus.
But if the angels are jealous, then that's not. That's the other.
That's the other angels, because the angels. The angels that stayed on the good side aren't.
It makes me think of that like pickup line, like, did it hurt
when you fell from heaven?
Yeah. You shouldn't be falling from heaven.
Yeah, hopefully not. No, you're on the wrong team if you fell from heaven. But the whole point of this is like that song, I was like, oh, let me read. And something about the strumming pattern, it just was too dark. It was like irredeemable. And so I had that like playing and was like trying to come up.
Trying to play it. And I walked in there and I'm like, it just feels off.
And you didn't even hear the song, I don't think. You just walked in and you're like, it just feels dark back here.
Strum.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm a real big, I mean, I guess you could say feeler.
Yeah.
I don't love that terminology, but where you can tell something's off, and then you start to dive in. Oh, okay, Lord, what's going on? So it might take us a second to figure it out, but like usually my first initial reaction to something is like something's off. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
And here's the thing: like you can bypass that.
Yeah,
if you push through that enough. So like where we used to be with secular music, we would have just pushed back that like, oh, it feels. I remember Billie Eilish, like. Dude, her stuff, it just gave me the ick so bad.
I loved it.
But like Ocean Eyes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Like we had Ari listen to that. When Ari had it memorized when she was like 2.
Like wraps you up in something.
Yeah.
It's like a little web.
So we don't want, like our flesh does not want this to be true. Yeah. So everybody has to recognize that.
My upbringing was music.
Dude,
and
her
movies.
Dad, like Led Zeppelin, like, that was your upbringing.
If you go into my childhood home, like not anymore, but there was boxes and boxes of records, cassette tapes, DVDs, VHS, like every type of form of entertainment in the way of different years of it, of every genre. In the movie, like on the movie side and the music side. Like
that is
Aretha
crazy.
Franklin, Frank Sinatra,
I remember,
Led Zeppelin. I
remember when we started dating.
The guitar.
Yeah.
I learned Led Zeppelin. I learned Eric Clapton. I learned all of that.
Yeah.
I would write songs. Like a lot of you don't know, that's like my upbringing is to create and do those things. But then a part of my testimony was, part of my deliverance testimony was the first thing God said was, give up music. And I was like, what? How am I going to work out? Well, how can you work out without music?
We took a big step in like setting our YouTube music to like clean version only. So it would some songs, if they didn't have a clean version, you just couldn't listen to it. Remember when we did that? Where it wouldn't allow cussing. So it would give you the clean version. Yeah. And that was like our first step of like, oh, this is big.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the cuss word, but it's not the cuss words. It's like what it's implying.
It's like the tune, the tone, what it's implying, like all this.
But I remember when we first started dating, I was like blown away at like, we would go to movies on Christmas. Your family would go to movies. And I'm like, my mom was always fighting against the normality of entertainment.
Yeah.
So every other year we would get rid of our TV. Like she would just get a wild hair and be like, all right, TV's gone, we're throwing it away. And we just like, I remember we went a whole year without a TV one time. And then my dad hated music because he was an alcoholic growing up. And so then when he came to the Lord, he just got rid of music completely and just did not, the dude never listened to music. But we had sports.
Because it's like, I've heard people say music's like a portal. Like,
Yeah.
I've heard people use the terminology because
Yeah.
it will take you back to that moment
Yeah.
that you first listened
So for
to
me,
it.
sports was entertainment. So sports was so nostalgic. Just watching, we would hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, like two NBA games on in a row. You're there all day, and it was
Yeah,
just like
that is
it would just, I would just sit back and I would love it. And when going to a game, and it's like it was a part of my being.
Yeah.
It really was a part of my being. My sports teams. It was a way of life, and it just drew me in so much. Where you would get emotional. I remember the most mad I would get was when KU would lose in the national championship. Like that would like devastate me for days. And every time I'd just like go back and like, oh, if we would have just hit that 3-pointer, and like I would just live in this like stuck. So anyway, that the Ordinary song is trying to redeem it. And then I'm just like, you know what, let me just like look at these lyrics, and I'm looking at them, and anybody who's not convicted by that song and is a Christian, just go read the lyrics and then read your word, and then like compare and contrast and pray and ask the Holy Spirit, like, yo, convict me. Because here's the thing, you have to want to be convicted. If you want to defend what you're living in and you don't want to be spiritually transformed, the thing is, spiritual transformation starts with acknowledgement.
Yeah.
And acknowledgement is saying, I am being conformed by this. I no longer want to conform to this. I want to be transformed by the word of God. And I want to meditate on it day and night so I won't sin against God. And so it's like, it comes with a choice.
Yeah.
And so anyone listening, anyone could easily say like, oh, Brendan and Indy are cuckoo. Well, I'm just explaining our testimony and how the Lord like drew us out of this. So when I gave up secular music, I just did it for 30 days. I think I did it for Lent or something. Like, what would that have been? That would have been
Do you
like
remember when that
8-9 years
was that
ago.
before me or after me?
After. Oh, I did
just
it.
remember it being December.
No, I did it
you do
before. I did it when we were in North Carolina. Shane challenged me to, and I did it.
I did not do it until
I
we
did it for
moved here.
30 days, and it was so hard because like Post Malone was like popping at the time, and his stuff is just so catchy.
Wow.
White Iverson, everything is just so catchy, and I'm just like, dude, what? It was so hard. I did it, but then and then I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll just listen to indie pop that's not like too bad.
Yeah.
So then you're listening to like
There was
Cage the Elephant,
okay.
Lumineers, like
I remember
like
that because we went from like really bad music
Like bad.
to like artistic.
like Ari was raised on like trap. Like we were listening to like Migos, like we were listening to everything. Like Trippie Redd,
She
like I was
wasn't
listening
raised on it. I mean, she was until the age of
to Ari.
3.
We used to
The
put
formative
Rihanna
years.
music videos on, and she'd be
She
like,
watched
"Come here,
Justin
Ruba."
Bieber music videos.
"Oh, we were such
parent
immature
a lot
parents."
different now.
So, yeah, it was just a wild time. It was a wild time because we weren't convicted. We didn't know any better.
No, oh no.
We
This
didn't know
is
any
just what
better.
everyone around us was doing, and I mean, honestly, yeah, I didn't. Who knows what they're doing in motherhood? The first 2 kids.
Oh yeah. We were trying. We
I
do
think
the
you
clean.
finally
I
were
mean,
like, I think I
dude,
get this,
honestly,
I don't
but
know.
like our church at the time, we were playing secular music at the youth events, but they're like the clean versions.
Yeah, yeah.
So Ari would be in there with her braids and her scooter, and she'd be rolling around listening to
funny.
all that. And then probably one of the darkest parts of my life was like I got listening to like XXX and Juice World, and like they were just like I really was drawn to like emo rap. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I think it was just because like I had darkness that I hadn't worked out of me yet. And the
Yeah.
darkness in me, it wanted to like be
Attached to that.
It wanted to be
It-
submersed
Yeah,
in it.
it
like,
craved it, and then it filled that
it
craving.
made me feel good while I was doing it. But then while I wasn't doing it, I felt awful. And so
Yeah.
then I'd have this like
You
draw
put
back to it.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was just hard. And then those dudes, I mean, one of them overdosed, other one got killed, and it's just like the whole scene there is just so gnarly.
Mm-hmm.
Like the amount of suicides and overdoses within, music industry and movies and TV, it's like it's gnarly because it's just
Yeah.
so dark. It's so dark.
And they don't know what it is. They think it's themselves.
Yeah.
Like they think like, what is wrong with me? Like I'm going insane. But really it's like there are certain like actual frequencies and things that will make you
Yeah.
switch
Yeah.
flip a switch.
So
Switch.
we've been watching a couple movies recently with with research purposes.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Indy do this thing where we'll literally like have a notebook and we'll watch a movie. And here's the distinction I want to make. I'm not you have to pray about what God allows for you to do. We do this podcast, and so one of the big things on this podcast is exposing the schemes of darkness and being aware of his schemes. So you don't focus on the darkness, you focus on the light, and you fix your eyes on Jesus.
In your everyday life, I mean, you're focusing on him, on what's true, what's good, you're worshiping him, but we feel called to expose like the agenda of the world.
Is a good word, yeah.
And like, you know, like The Chosen, how it has all the fish going one way, and then that's kind of what we're getting at. Like, okay, how do you be in this world but not of it?
Yeah.
And with our phones and the way the algorithm is, it's so simple to just be
veg out and
confused. So it's so simple to be like.
That's the distinction that I wanted to make. So one of the things, okay, two things I want to say here. Let me ask any questions so you can kind of help me formulate this. But
what's the first thing a tired mom turns to nowadays? A really tired mom.
You want me to answer that?
Yeah.
Why are you putting me on this? I don't want to get in trouble.
Like oftentimes it's like, okay, you can go watch a show. You can watch a movie.
Yeah,
like
it's
letting
easy.
The kids go watch something.
So and they'll veg out.
If you don't know a whole bunch of moms that have pre-watched all these things, you're like, okay, yeah, I trust you to turn it off if it's bad or whatever, you know.
But the kids don't know how to discern what's good and evil yet.
They don't know yet, and the agenda's ever so slight, and then it builds
so slight. Yep.
As the age gets older.
It draws you in. And here's the thing. This is the distinction I want to make. Satan is puppeteering.
Yeah.
Satan is the ruler of the earth. Satan was sent to earth with his demons. They deceived the whole earth.
Are we going to talk about Spider-Man?
Satan, yeah, we can. Satan is the father of lies.
Yes.
So
Gross.
Satan is the one who is manipulating, is altering, is perverting because he can't create. So what he does is he perverts, and he's leading everyone astray. He's wanting to pull the sheep out of the pen. And so when we talking about these things, most human beings, a high percentage of human beings want to accomplish good on the earth. The ones that are set out to do evil, I believe, this is my personal opinion, are few and far between. They start out wanting to accomplish good. And so in their mind, so one of the quotes of Walt Disney is he said, I would rather entertain to teach than teach to entertain. Think about that. I would rather entertain to teach than teach to entertain. So Walt Disney had an agenda to teach, but it was through entertainment.
Yeah.
So it wasn't saying, so it was like, oh, here's Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is doing this. And then one of the things Walt Disney did was they partnered up with the government for World War II to kind of promote the war to Americans. Because America was split at the time of like, should we be involved? Should we not be involved? And so then they would use entertainment to mold the way that people thought. And this has been going on for a long time. We'll get in more into it, but this was with Rome. This was with Germany and Hitler's agenda, and using entertainment to mold the ideologies and the thought patterns and the morals and the behavior and just everything within who's consuming it. And so, with that being said, Walt Disney might have had good in his heart of wanting to entertain to teach, and it's like, okay, here's Walt Disney's morals. If you were to look at what his morals are and what he's trying to teach versus what God is trying to teach, this is why Jesus says, apart from me, you can do nothing. So you can't do good apart from Jesus. It doesn't matter how good your intentions are. In some way, you're going to be polluting the water and you're going to be corrupting. And so when our kids their brains are so moldable, and we're giving them entertainment and we're giving them over to basically be parented, or I shouldn't say parented, to be
babysat.
Discipled. They're being discipled. What you entertain, what you ingest is what's forming you.
Well, you pick a babysitter based on if you like them, right?
Yeah. So, but when like what you're saying, when you're tired and we thought Bluey was good.
We're going there.
We're going to go everywhere.
We're going to Bluey? I mean, we're
going to go everywhere.
Bluey's funny.
Well, one day.
But the mom does magic.
Yeah. So one day, Keys is running around. No. One day, Keys is running around talking about magic and stuff. And we're just like, what the heck? Where did she get that? Because we're really careful with what she consumes. And apparently, Bluey's mom does good witchcraft every once in a while. But and people might laugh. There's going to be people on the other side of the screen like, really, Bluey?
Who cares?
It's forming the way your kid sees the world.
Yeah, like
they don't have a filter yet.
And like, what's the Bible say witchcraft is? It's like rebellion,
Yep.
control, whatever.
Yep.
And
it says that the enemy comes as an angel of light. So it's never going to be like some like, hey, let's have our kid watch.
It's not that we think we can protect our kids from everything. She's so young. So like it is our job. There's like this pendulum. I know, you can swing one way or the other, but it's our job to protect our kids until they know what's right. And then you start loosening.
But
reins.
don't live a double standard. Like if you're ingesting garbage, like then your kids are going to model after you. So at some point, like for you, when you hit high school, like you were allowed to watch horror movies or whatever. Yeah, my mom
sat me down and said, it wasn't specifically like you can watch horror movies. I was like, they would have to tell me what movie or show I was allowed to watch or not. There's
Until
a lot,
what age?
I can't remember what age, but I remember my mom being like, hey, you know what's good and you know what's bad. You get to choose now what you intake and watch. And then I started going to the movies with friends. I probably was 15. Honestly, that's pretty old. But at that point, then I just watched everything.
Well, so
I'd cover my eyes for bad parts.
I think that you were being formed. You were being formed by what you were consuming prior to when you were given the green light. And so your favorite movie when we met was like Disturbia.
Ew. That's so gross for you to say that was my favorite movie.
Dude, you showed me it.
You're so extreme.
Was that not your favorite movie when you were 15?
I liked that movie, but favorite movie?
It was your top 3 movies.
What's my favorite movie?
It was your top 3 movies.
You know my favorite movie.
Yeah, National Treasure or whatever.
And there's a lot of favorites, but that was not a favorite.
But I think the thrillers.
But Thriller.
Hold on.
I'm
just trying to make a point. You don't have to get defensive.
My upbringing was reading like books of solving problems, like Sherlock Holmes.
Exactly.
Lemony Snicket.
What I'm saying is
I loved it.
The point I was trying to make. It's not about
make the point.
All right, for the record, guys, it wasn't Indy's favorite. It was just her top 3.
You're killing me.
You were 15, bro. You were 15. It's okay.
I know, but that's so
You
gross.
love that movie.
I liked it. If I did.
We watched that movie so many times, and I was so scared.
So many times. This is what the Kellys do, okay?
Dude.
They say always, forever, favorite.
I said so many times.
And they paint a picture.
Bro, was it not? Look at me in the eyes. Was it not your top 3 favorite movies?
No. Never. Did we probably watch it a couple times? Yeah, but
top 10 favorite movies.
Top 10 favorite, maybe. Sure, let me just say that to appease the people.
Hey, all right. It was one of Indy's favorite movies.
From all the movies I consumed my whole life, which was a lot. No, it can't be even in the 10 because, there's Spider-Man.
You like that movie a lot. Okay.
Anyways, back to your point, back to Jesus.
I was saying you were being formed, or what's the word? You were being drawn because thrillers were basically forming your attraction.
Yeah.
So then you're attracted to the problem. So then horror movies are like the pinnacle of like what's going to happen.
Oh yeah,
that's why people watch it.
I saw life through.
Yes.
And I wanted to, I think subconsciously, I wanted to not have fear. I had fear as a child, and then when I was saved and baptized, it like went away. And then I would watch movies with my friends, and then
that affected you.
It came back in so thick. Like me and one of my best friends would have to walk each other to the bathroom, like. We'd have sleepovers, watch a scary movie, and be like, you have to take me to the bathroom, like in our own home.
Yeah, and for the record, we're talking, me and Indy have been together for like 18 years. So we're talking about when we're literally 15.
Yeah.
So we're just being transparent here. Like this is at the deepest, darkest that it goes, is like horror movies. But then as we were kind of gradually being refined, where we'd give up a little bit more. And then when we came into our season where God like delivered us of like.
Well, I say when we got married, we were like, we're not watching anything like that anymore, which is 18.
Yeah.
By 18.
I remember one time we tried to watch like a horror, and I'm just like, dude, but like we still did thrillers, and I'm really sensitive to gore.
Yeah.
And you weren't as much.
I was not. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, get used to it. What if we are in the like war someday? Like, my mentality was like, get tougher.
Yeah. But then you were maybe more sensitive to like, I grew up on comedies. So like maybe like, I don't know, more provocative things or whatnot.
Yeah,
like we both. Yeah.
I didn't like perversion.
Yeah.
But I was fine with gore.
Where I had been like desensitized to that because I like watched every comedy movie ever.
Yeah.
So it was like, so it literally shaped who we were.
Yeah.
Like movies and music shaped who we were.
100%. I would even, the Lord would give me dreams. And in the dream, there would be like famous people. And then he'd like lead me to this like bookshelf and it would have all this like entertainment, like movies and DVDs. And I'd be like, why do you have me like here, Lord? And he'd be like, this is what shaped you. Dang. And I was like, this was like before I went through a lot of deliverance. And the first thing like after that dream he had said was give up music. And that's when I was like, oh no, how am I going to work out? And I was like struggling. I was like, how the heck am I gonna like, I had a hard time working out. It was not my favorite thing.
Yeah.
And so when he said give up music, I'm like, dang, okay. And I gave it up and I started listening to podcasts or reading the Bible, like the Bible app, or just worship music while working out. And it completely changed everything. It's like it just like swept my brain of a way, like an agenda, a way of thinking.
Man, when I think back to that era, I just cannot believe at how much darkness was in my life. But I didn't know.
Yeah. No, I was like fun Christian.
We were living life. I mean,
I just loved rap music
to the
when
naked
I worked
eye.
out.
Yeah, to the naked eye, like
I had to get that dog.
Yeah. Had to harness
something.
But I mean, even think about that. That's
but
wild.
really.
So here's the thing, people, I just want to talk to people listening. You might be listening. You're like, dang, they were into some dark stuff. I'm not that bad. I maybe listen to some reggae here, reggae there.
No, we're like
I maybe
being super.
But the thing is, when you
transparent.
are in bondage, you never know that you're in bondage. You don't know until you're on the other side and you're walking in freedom.
And you're like,
and usually you have to give something up because the enemy is tricky in the way that he comes. Mm-hmm. And so like and
it's not you mustering up like, I need to give this up. Like God was like, give up music. Yeah. And I did. And then I never went back to secular music. Yeah. I was like, oh, like I can't. Like when I tried to after that, when I tried to like listen to a song, I just heard everything it was saying that was wrong. When before I didn't hear anything. Yeah. You know?
So let's do this and let's talk about this. Let's first talk about the darkness that is under the surface and just the different things that we've kind of seen recently with like entertainment that's coming out, like the most popular movies and things like that. And then let's talk about the agenda. Okay. Let's do that. And then we'll go from there. And then we'll have one more. So the darkness underneath, as someone that is in Hollywood, you know, or had a brief stint.
Zoom in on my face for this part. Are you serious? Someone who's been in Hollywood.
You knew I was going to go there at some point.
You're being like Michael Scott right now.
As someone that the industry really wanted, and they tried to snatch me up, and I escaped.
They really actually did try to snatch him up. They were trying to butter him up, tell him he looked like another actor in California. They said, you should move to California and be a stunt double.
Should I share the story?
No.
I mean, we're on the entertainment. I have to.
What are you gonna share?
I'll just real quick. So basically, I signed up to be an extra.
You can't say it.
No, I can't.
Didn't you? They're gonna take you away.
No, I'm gonna cut to the footage.
Don't
too.
say what movie.
I recorded some stuff behind the scenes.
No, they'll sue us for $10.
Yeah, they're gonna take back the money.
They're gonna take back our $10. No, that's our couch.
Okay, no, we did.
We bought a couch. Brennan,
we bought a couch.
Brennan was an extra in a movie, and we
in
bought
Jumanji
a new
3,
couch.
Which, I mean, that was a whole thing in of itself. I'm allowed to say what I was in, Indy.
Can you?
Yeah, I'm not supposed to share footage behind the scene.
They make you sign things, and Brennan is notorious for not reading what he signs. So,
dude, it's not that big. So, anyway.
He was in a bleep movie.
With the movie. Oh, we have a bleeper on here now, I think.
Where? Which one? I want control of that one. Where is it? You're already going to have to bleep out the beginning of this. No,
I think it's their censor.
That one?
Shepherding Wellness is a crowd-funded nonprofit dedicated to equipping the saints for the works of the ministry and reaching the lost. Our mission is to bring a holistic approach to living out the gospel, being the hands and feet of Jesus in every space we enter. Whether it's organizing young adult camps, providing sabbaticals for pastors, or leading spirit-led mission trips, we exist to see lives transformed. When you partner with us, you're partnering with the work of the kingdom. Our hearts burn to see unity in the body of Christ, and we've been deeply encouraged by the radical ways God is moving as we walk in obedience. Become a monthly supporter by going to shepherdingwellness.com/give or Venmo at Shepherding Wellness. Your support is deeply appreciated and enables the Spirit-led ministry to continue advancing His kingdom.
So anyway, it was something I prayed about, and it was because it's like, I know the Jumanji movies are kind of dark. Like, there's a lot of perversion. It's like it'll be a guy inside a girl's body, and he'll be checking himself out. And there's like a lot of you get desensitized. Like, the more you are entertained by something, the more desensitized you get. And that's how, like, even Germany, with the Reich and with Hitler's agenda, what they did was they'd be, instead of just like, they learned that they would lose the audience when they just shoved propaganda down their throat through the radios. Because what they did was they got radios in every home. And when they were like propaganda, people would tune out. But when they did entertainment, propaganda, entertainment, ideology, entertainment, and you like intermingle it, then people get conformed by it. Yep. And so, like, even as me and you are talking right now, there's things that we've been conformed by that we don't even realize. And that's why it says, you know, we go from glory to glory with unveiled faces. Like, every level of glory, every step we take being formed into Christ likeness more and more, because that's what the sanctification journey is. There's something that gets revealed. So right now you are in the unknown in some area of your life. Mm-hmm. Some area of your life, it's wreaking havoc on you and you don't even know about it. And that's where the unveiling comes. And so anyway, there's a lot of, like, it might not seem like Jumanji's that bad, but when you watch it with like heavenly lenses or whatnot, it's like, it's portals. It's there's just so much agenda in it. And so I was like, man, do I really want to be in kind of like a dark movie? But you know, we have this prophetic word where I was going to dive deep into dark places and you were going to pray deep. And so I tried to take things up. And the only reason I wasn't going to do it was for the judgment that it might.
Prayed hard those days.
Yeah.
Because you didn't know what movie it was.
Yeah.
You signed up and then you found out what movie it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, no.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't allowed to watch that growing up.
The first one was really dark. It's like a Ouija board. I
still haven't seen it.
Thump.
My mom was always just like, stay away from Ouija boards.
Yeah. So I go, I prayed and felt led to be on the set. But the only reason I wasn't going to was the thought of like the judgment I might get of being on it, of like people being like, oh, what, Pastor Bren in Jumanji or whatever. But while I was there, I was just looking for every opportunity to share the gospel.
No one would even know.
Yeah.
But now everyone.
Oh gosh, true. No, they would see me.
No one know.
They would see me on there. Yeah, I got to wear the suit from Waterworld, which was like my dad's favorite movie growing up. Yeah, I literally wore his outfit, the outfit he wore in Waterworld. Did
it smell like him?
Which was wild. Yeah, but
yeah,
there was just this darkness on set that I just can't even describe. You could cut it with a knife, but then there also was
making pretty thick jokes. You said.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Disturbing jokes.
Yeah.
And every night I wasn't there, but this is what being married's like. I was having dreams of like what it's like on set.
So
and
let
then
me
I would describe
let me break
it to him,
down
a
couple things of the darkness that were happening. One, there was this lure to just want to be involved, to like want to roll, to want a part, to like want to be able to talk on a scene, or to that it was going to be your big break. Like I could just feel the energy of everyone that was an extra just looking for a big break and like wanting to put themselves around the producers and the directors and like look for an opportunity. And then you could feel the jealousy when people would because they gave me one part where it's like I was kind of leading this charge and I was like training all the guys and you could just feel like the jealousy of everyone that like didn't get the like leadership role. And it's just this weird aura, Also, another weird part is like people are just touching you constantly. So it gets you desensitized where you stop feeling like a human and you feel like an object because the makeup people will like not even ask and they'll like, if you have a belt on or anything, they'll just be touching you in areas And it's just like, it's just weird. And then the crudeness on set, like there was a part where they had us with knives because we were like savages in this village or whatnot. And they're like telling the people like, pretend like you're cutting up a baby. And then like, what are you going to do with the baby afterward? And I was just like, what? And then everybody around me was like game with him talking about this and we're joking about it and then continued the joke on. And I'm like, if this goes one more leg, I am saying something because it was just getting like atrocious. Like it was just, but then I just prayed and it cut off, but it's just weird. And so there's just like dark stuff. So it's like, so that's the industry that's making the entertainment that you're watching.
What you're,
and everyone is acting like when you see the red carpet shows and when you see like Tom Holland and Zendaya and all these people that it's like, oh, they're so cute and look at their little light. Everything is a performance and that's what Jesus calls like the hypocrite. Hypocrites comes from the term actor because it's like, don't have stuff in the dark and then act a certain type of way. And so actors are trained. And so like, they're not just acting on set, but then they're acting every time they're in the public eye because the more public approval you get, the more people are wanting to watch your show, the more money you make. The more money the show makes, the more money then you draw in. And it's just this like super toxic cycle. And you see how it ends. Like, man, I just watched
it's like a large pyramid scheme.
Yeah. I really felt drawn to watch like one of Jay Shetty's podcasts the other day, which I don't recommend. He's like a mindfulness guru and a lot of Hinduism and New Age and stuff in his podcast. But he had Hayden Panettiere on the other day, like 3 months ago. And I just caught a couple glimpses of it. And she was just talking about the darkness of the industry and how her like mom would make her like lay with older men in like movies and like all this stuff. And then she was like having to act as a drug addict in movies where it literally like she brought that into her own life. So everything that she was acting in the movie to the point where when she was on, this is just so dark. When she was on the movie or the show Heroes, she died of cardiac arrest. And then she just yesterday died of cardiac arrest.
Oh, no.
And so it's just like, there's such a demonic agenda and undertow, and we are being entertained. So I have a hard time, since my eyes have been open, I honestly have a hard time watching movies now and being entertained by it because I think of the darkness that they're living in. Like certain movies, like anything with like Ryan Gosling or anyone that that they're just like deep in, it's hard to watch as a Christian because it's like those are real people back there.
Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
The Joker.
One of my professors has this story where he was in San Francisco and he would do weddings. And so he would just get hired by celebrities because he's in California. So in LA or San Fran or wherever they live, he would get hired to do the weddings because back then people wouldn't just like get online and get the, you would actually hire like a priest or a pastor or whatever.
Yeah.
So he would get hired a bunch and sometimes they'd invite him to stick around for like the reception afterward. And he would stay around to eat, get a free meal. He's just a real funny guy. So he is at this table, he's eating and he doesn't know who these people are, but there's two women that kind of seemed owned by this guy. Like it seemed like he had some ownership over them. And he's talking to them and they're asking him questions about the gospel and he's sharing. And there's one that was kind of receptive. And then there's one that was like just pushing back a lot. And then by the end, she said, well, Jesus would never receive me back for everything I've done. And he didn't know who they were. And they were kind of laughing at him that they didn't know. And so he went back and looked up their names. And it was the cast from Friends.
Oh, wow.
And so I won't say the names, but two of the women on there, one was the one that was kind of receptive, and then one was like, hey, God would never receive me back.
Yeah.
And now when you see that person in the level of success and celebrityness, and then you see, like, you hear the stories of them like wanting kids or wanting marriage, and then everything's just constantly falling apart. And even Miley Cyrus was on a interview recently and just talking about how she basically threw away her marriage and stuff because she was like flaunting her body, where like the person that she was going to marry was like felt like she had given up so much of herself, there was nothing like retained for him, like with like the Wrecking Ball music video. And she was doing it because promoters were like pushing her to do it. And now she has like all this regret, and we're being entertained by that as Christians. And I just really believe that we should be drawing the line in the sand in some areas and not giving into that, because it's like, those are souls.
Yeah.
Like those are souls. We should be like interceding for them.
Yeah.
And not, you know what I mean? And I'm not the type to like be like, oh, don't give, this company money because they're doing this and then. That's just not me. But like when it's affecting us like so negatively and we're like bringing that in, And then it's changing the way we interact with the world around us.
Yeah.
Because it is in some small way, whether you like to admit it or not. Mm-hmm. It is. So anyway, with the set, there's just a lot of darkness, and it was gnarly. And I'd come home and I'd just feel icky. And Indy, I'd literally feel like I need to shower.
Yeah.
Like I need to shower, and I need Indy to like pray over me, because it's just like it felt like it was staying with me. And yeah, so I'm really grateful for that experience, because I feel like I can speak to it with a little more authority, being on the side of like being entertained, and then like also creating, like being in the industry that like creates the entertainment, and just seeing both sides. And I feel like God just took me on that side quest to kind of like have some more information, because like I really want to help people walk in freedom. Like that's the whole goal. Like a lot of times when we sit down, it's like, how can we expose the lies of the enemy so people can acknowledge them as a lie or as deceit, and then come out of agreement with it, and then walk in the fullness of the life that Christ has created for them, in the abundance and satisfaction. Yeah. What's scary about it too is a lot of the people producing, like we watched a lot of our friends and just people were talking about the Michael Jackson movie, and so we kind of wanted to watch it. And like sometimes like I'll literally like sit down with a notebook and like take quotes from the movies, and it just like, all right, what is Satan really trying to push right now? And with that one, it was just so sad, because like Michael Jackson had so much bitterness and so much resentment at his dad, and he was just, that's what was like promoting him to want to be the biggest in the world, to the point where, I mean, that dude would do it until his feet were bleeding. He would dance and he would sing, and he was just so sick, and he was putting himself in like all these situations just to prove himself. And there was a part in the movie where he said like, I have to do it. I have to be the light to the world. Like I have to be. And so,
well, see, the agenda of the movie would be like to show that he was abused.
Yeah.
And then was misunderstood and like tenderhearted and all these things. And it definitely got me thinking like, oh, he's just misunderstood. He has traumas and that, which is true. Which is very true. And I was like feeling for this character while watching it, and the songs and the music were like pumping me up. But when I was done watching it, I felt awful, just terrible. I had to have you pray over me. I'm like, I feel gross. This just doesn't seem right, because everything I've discerned about Michael Jackson, like growing up, isn't matching up with what I'm seeing on this.
What's being portrayed. And so there's a difference of discernment versus what they're feeding you. And so the movie, it's like what they fed you is like, yeah, he went through a lot. He went through a lot of abuse from his father, all these things. I mean, so did you. You know what I mean? But when you sit back and you actually play the songs and listen to the words, his songs, like, I don't even know what he was pulling from. Like, I'm bad. Like, all these things, which is just the minute of it. And I don't want to get into everything. But if you go and you read the lyrics, he didn't live that lifestyle. Like, he clearly did not, like, have this. He wasn't. Like, he was talking about seduction and women.
From a young age. And it's like, he wasn't into that.
But it was what was popular, and the enemy was using it.
Yeah, so he was definitely being used as a vessel. And there's one point in the movie where he's like, God gave me this gift and I have to shine my light. I was like, there it is. He said, he said, and I know this is just a movie, like, but this is what is said everywhere these days. I have to shine my light. And there's a verse in the Bible that says something about living by the flames of their own torches. And it says they will lie down in torment. And that verse explains most of entertainment. You're living by your own light. And it's like, this is the gift that I was given. I'm living by it in my light. No, the light that we have is Christ alone.
You weren't created to receive glory.
No, we were not created to receive glory.
So, but
we do good.
Oh my gosh! But that's how Satan fell. Like, yes. He wanted glory.
He wanted glory. He wanted to be like God.
And so now Satan uses humans as vessels to be glorified. And like, Satan is glorified through people. They
still say, God gave me this. That's using his name in vain.
Yeah,
vanity.
That's good.
So there's just a lot. So after we watched it, I had to get prayed over, and then I had Michael Jackson stuck in my head for weeks, and it was like, oh yeah, it's so good, it's so nostalgic. But actually, no, it really got in there, and it's really sad, and I'm so sad for what he went through and the torment that he experienced, And
But
that's
we
happening
make them
to a lot of people.
we make them a projection of our own imagination. So we want to be nostalgic and like, oh, it's such a good time, and that music met me at this age. Like a lot of people have nostalgia of their high school years.
Yeah.
But when you think about what you were doing in high school, like you really want to have nostalgia over that when you're in Christ, like now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
unless I don't know.
I mean, you were way worse than me, so you think about what you.
Why does everything have to be comparison?
It's a little joke. But I wanted to talk about Spider-Man also.
Okay.
Spider-Man was my favorite movie. Like the OG Spider-Man. I loved comic books. And then when Spider-Man came out, I was like, whoa, this is so cool. Just all about it. And then there was all the different Spider-Mans. So of course, that's been like a huge part of my life. But we recently went and saw the new Spider-Man. And walking away, we're like, that's probably the best filmed movie we've seen in a very long time.
Very well thought out. Like the script was good and
very
a lot of emotions. Like, dude, when MJ like kissed him, but like she had taken over MJ's body and like she said all the things like I remember now, and
it was very
Jean Grey took over MJ.
intense.
That was gnarly.
Very well done. That doesn't mean I'm like recommending it. So disclosure or whatever you want to call it. I'm not like recommending it, but it was really good. We enjoyed it, quote unquote. And one thing we do as a family is we don't watch something to be entertained. We watch it to play Spot the Lie, so we can watch it and consume it per se, but we're gonna see like what the truth is.
Yeah,
and walk away, and we're gonna talk.
Can I bring some clarity to that before you go on? Because
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like a high horse. Like it's like, well, we don't watch which I don't think you made it sound like,
no,
but I just
like,
want to explain. Like
we don't let our guard
we
down?
do watch. Yes, guard down.
Okay.
So we explain to our girls when you zone out to a show and you are being entertained or amused, because amused is a equal word there.
Yeah.
What's happening is you are not guarding your heart. You're not guarding your ears. You're not guarding your mind. You're not guarding your eyes, and you're allowing things in to shape the way you think.
Yeah.
And so something that a Navy SEAL friend of mine, shout out Drew, taught me was he played with his kids growing up with Spot the Lie. What are they trying to indoctrinate you with through this movie? Because there is always an underlying agenda, even if the director, the writer, whoever isn't aware of the agenda. The enemy has an agenda. No matter how small or how big, there's something going on in the background that's attempting to form the way you think. Mm-hmm. And so something that we have done with the girls, if we play a game, we've been doing this for years now. If we're going to watch a movie, if we're going to sit down and have a Friday night movie, we want to have fun. We want to eat our popcorn. We want to have a good time. We watched Surf's Up last week. But what are they trying to indoctrinate us with through this movie?
Yeah.
And
there
then
was even a time where we watched nothing though.
And that's
like,
where
we needed to find what the Lord wanted us to do.
And that's where it's got to be to each his own. What is your conviction? If you're just saying, nope, I'm always gonna watch secular items and be entertained by it, like by all means, like if that's if that's your cup of tea. But if the Lord is like starting to convict you, He might have you go through a season. When we first went through deliverance, it was absolutely nothing. Like the Lord was like cut everything off. All we did was watch like sermons, and like even that had to be like, what are we watching? And it was because He was uprooting things from our lives and stripping us and giving us eyes to see in the spirit. But we couldn't see in the spirit when we were constantly being entertained by the world.
Yeah.
And so it was also during that time He was giving us a lot of dreams, and your dreams can be significantly influenced by what you ingest.
Yeah.
So no matter what, even like eating a bunch of sugar before bed or watching some junk TV while you're laying down to go to sleep, doesn't matter. It's all like informing you. And then that's corrupting your ability to receive heavenly downloads while you sleep. And that's why Jesus calls us to be set apart and be holy. Like it says, be holy as I am holy.
Psalm 119:37 says, turn my eyes from looking at worthless things and give me life in your ways. So it talks about like how we turn our eyes from it.
Yeah.
You know?
So continue on though with Spot the Lie and Spider-Man, what you're saying.
Oh yeah. So walking away from it, we were like, whoa, so good. And we really had to sit down and be like, okay, what would be the agenda they're trying to mix here? And I swear, every movie nowadays has, it's all like sci-fi.
Yeah,
you know?
it's
like
all portal. It's all
yeah,
another dimension.
yeah.
It's all aliens. It's insane. It's all doing spells and
it's not just the Avengers anymore. It's not just Marvel movies anymore. It's every type of movie has that now. And so for Spider-Man, we're like, dang, that was nuts. I can't believe they were even, when Spider-Man didn't know what it was, he was like talking to the girl and she was
Black
like,
Widow's sister.
oh, it might be demon possession or a ghost or whatever. I'm
You
like,
gotta do
wow.
your full accent.
No,
And he's really good at it.
Not doing it.
Smelled potatoes.
And so it was like shocking that they're now using this verbiage. Mainstream media is using demonization.
My favorite
ghost.
verbiage that they used was inhabitation.
Yeah.
They kept calling it inhabitation. It's like, can you get any more clear than that?
And it's like growing up, it's like, no, that's all fake. That's all fake. But in the Bible,
now they're just throwing it in your
fake.
face with like Demon Hunters, the show. There's a book about like people that have superpowers that are demonized. And so now it's just in your face.
Demons are in everything. Yeah. They're all throughout Netflix, all your kids' shows. They're like in everything. I mean, back then in the 2000s, a little bit of 90s, I don't know. Scooby-Doo, that was barely anything. It was a masked bad guy. Like they were a monster, but then they were masked. So it was like, it has to be human.
Do you remember the big Scooby-Doo movie where it was like actual aliens behind the mask? And that was like a big deal because like up until that point, it's always like a human deception. But then there was like aliens that came down.
Well, now it's like that. Everything is being like the bad guys are aliens or whatever. But one thing that is true, like from the Bible, like there are demons. They can cause evil things to happen.
They inhabit people.
Like
even when people don't know, even sometimes it's not just looking like possession where somebody like the man at the tombs is cutting himself and freaking out and bending over backwards. Sometimes it's a woman has an illness in the temple and
infirmities
and Jesus comes and he doesn't just heal her, he casts out a spirit. And so it's very, very deceptive. They're malevolent beings and they know what they're doing.
And most of it's through entertainment.
Yeah.
But or what you allow in. So we have like, there's like a mental picture of like opening doors. So you're opening doors to the enemy's schemes. You're like, if your eyes are watching something that's not good, you're opening that door for your heart to
scripturally to back
filth.
that up. It says, don't get a bit angry. Don't give Satan a foothold.
Mm-hmm.
It also says, be aware of the enemy's schemes. It also says that he roams around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. It also says that he seeks to kill, steal, and destroy. So there's all this language around what the devil does and how he works. He comes as an angel of light. So he looks good. He looks okay. Most other religions are founded upon an angel visitation and they think it's an angel, but it's actually a demon. And so he's very deceptive. It says that he's the accuser of the brethren. So he's like very well, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And so with all this being said, like what we're communicating is like being aware of that so that you don't fall for deception and you're not ignorant. You're not ignorant to his devices.
What do you do to be aware? Like you don't put yourself on autopilot when you're teaching your kids at all. You just don't.
Be alert, be vigilant.
Being a parent is hard. You're going to be in a hard parenting like stage of life for quite a while.
To be vigilant.
It takes a lot of work. Yeah. There's no, like any of the times that I'm like, I'm just so sick and like something is brought up and then we have to talk to the kids about it and it's just like crazy.
Yeah.
But that's why if you look at the Bible in its entirety, it's like, what do? We focus on what's good, and to the pure, all things are pure. And we put on the armor of God. What does the armor have? It has like a helmet of salvation, right?
Shield of faith.
So like we're not going to be confused when we are focusing on the truth and what's good and what's true. And if we're turning our eyes away from evil, we're not going to be experiencing all this confusion and depression and doubt and anxiety because we are focusing and we're meditating on what's good and true.
Yeah.
We've been there. We still will fall into it because we'll believe a lie or we'll open up a door to, a demonic agenda of like, oh, these are the things we need to be doing right now.
Well, a lot of it comes in for us like distraction.
Yeah.
So distraction, entertainment uses distraction. So like one thing that all fall for the enemy's devices now is being entertained by like, say, like a business podcast, or even actually not even business. That was like a year or 2 years ago. Now it'll be like ministry advice of like, oh, if you want to have a ministry, you got to run it in this way. And then I'll start adding all these things to my life that were never meant to be there.
Yeah. Well, just like when you were explaining the entertainment industry of like, there's tiers and like people just want to be in that position. I was like, that sounds like some churches.
Well,
like
yeah,
people
what I was
are
saying
like
was
trying to climb a ladder. And then God's like, I didn't put a ladder there.
Lecrae just released a podcast where he had this desire to be famous and didn't even recognize it because he was okay with being like the Christian rapper, but then it started to get to him. And it really was on full display when he got invited to the Grammys or whatever, was on the red carpet, and he showed up a little late, and he didn't know that like really famous people show up late. So they pulled him aside. And so for 45 minutes with his wife who had to pee and was in heels, he had to wait on the side with all like the common people while like the real celebrities went by, like Taylor Swift and all that. And then every time they'd go by, he'd hear like Taylor taking all the pictures. And when he went through, there was like 3 people that took his picture, and he felt like it was because they were sympathetic towards him. And he was saying, then he got invited to this party, he went, and there was like tiers of people. There was like 3 tiers. There was like the common celebrities, and then and then there was like Kanye and Jay-Z who were like in this gazebo, and they had like security, and how you always want the next tier.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, so you're saying even within church culture, when it's presented as these ladders, we can have this desire in us without even being aware of it, of like climbing, and we're influenced by the way we perceive the world, because that's not a biblical way of like seeing ministry. And like Jesus said, I did not come to be served, but to serve, and the first shall be last, and he came to wash feet. Yeah. And so there's just this thing we get like, influence.
I still believe in like apprenticeship, like coming alongside and learning from someone that's like more established or going in the direction that you feel God calling you to go into. Yeah. But I don't like when it's like, oh, you're anointed, little Tim, and I want you to do ABC, and you're going to be a part of this affiliation for this long. And when it's like,
when we make it affiliation,
God wanted little Tim to go to Africa
even
for a bit and then come
back.
Dude,
I mean, they used to have like a shout out Daryl, because I think he got saved to one of these messages. But at churches, they'll even have movies at the church. With the series where they'll like do it on a movie. You know what I'm saying? They'll have like Spider-Man, and they'll have like a sermon series based on the movies. And so like even unintentionally, church can be influenced by entertainment. I mean, even the fact how we have an elevated stage at the church, like all of this comes from the Colosseum. All this comes from like even how you have auditoriums, like Joel Osteen's church. Like it all is influenced by the world and the way the world was set up. Because like in the Bible, the temple had God at the center, was the Holy of Holies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? True. And then you had the inner courts, the outer courts.
Yeah.
And so it's like God is like the focal point. Now we've made man the focal point a lot of times. And that's all influenced by entertainment. I want to stay on track and get to.
Now I want to go into the fivefold. Just
dude, we're so bad.
I want
to get into agenda, but I want to share the flip side. You can unintentionally disciple your kids to only see the bad in things. So something that I did,
which can cause fear,
right? Something that I brought in, the Lord just gave me this idea, was spot the lie and observe the truth.
Ooh, yeah.
So we're looking to spot the lie when we watch movies with the girls, and like, but then where is there truth? Because there is good in humanity, and there's things that the Lord uses to influence His people in a good direction.
Yeah.
And so like, the majority might be lies, but then there'll be stories like Star Wars or whatever, where it's like, oh yeah, I could see Jesus in this character, but then I also see the Force in it, almost trying to make the Holy Spirit seem like an energy instead of like a person. And so like, there's always going to be this like kind of give and pull. So I just wanted to add that in. Like, we don't want to disciple our kids to just see the bad, but spot the lie, observe the truth, encourage everyone to implement it, not just with your kids, but also with your wife or with your husband or by yourself or your best friend when you're watching movies, because you don't want to. The last thing you want to do is just slump. There's this in Rome, Juvenal, who is a writer. He got kicked out of the army for like kind of like putting on display like some of the Roman agenda and whatnot. And I think he fled to Egypt, and then this was around the year of like 100 AD, so like soon after Jesus, when I think Emperor Nero and then whoever took over after. But the games are becoming popular, the Colosseum, they're killing Christians, and he said this. He had this phrase that he wrote in some of his parables that he would write, and it was bread and circuses. And the idea was that Rome can do whatever they want under the scene, behind the scenes, as long as they keep feeding the people bread and circuses. And then who was it that shared? Oh, Seneca. Seneca, who is a philosopher, a secular philosopher, so not a man that his mind is submitted to Christ, but he famously said that nothing is so damaging to good character as the habit of lounging at the games. So I just get this
letting
image.
your guard down.
I get this image of being entertained, or as being like.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I like to be when I'm relaxing.
Like eating your popcorn, changing the channel, and your guard is just completely down. And Seneca said, no one ever comes in with, no one ever leaves the games with as good as a good as character as they came in. So it's almost like it takes something from you.
Yeah, it changes.
And so when you think about the games, I don't believe, and this is when I was talking about most people are good earlier, I don't believe it was the intention of Rome, hey, let's develop this amphitheater. Let's develop this Colosseum so that way we can deceive people and influence the way they think.
Yeah, that might not be the agenda, but this is where we like disagree a little bit, because I'm like, but then say the ruler is like selfish and wants to be elevated. Like that's definitely a bad intention.
But in all that I'm saying, in their minds, it's good because they think for the good of the people, I know better in their minds. All that I'm making, I'm not saying it's not evil. I'm saying in their minds, they think they're doing good. In their minds, they're like, I know what's best for the people. We can't allow these commoners to rule. We have to numb them in order for this, and this. But there'll be some selfish agenda involved. But I don't think when they set
Vengeance.
out, like, think of the trajectory of this. Entertainment started with storytelling.
Yep.
And then it evolves to plays. And that's where you get the whole word Pharisees, because there's like literally mass people that would make these plays. And then you have the games. And then you have murder in the Colosseum, sacrifice, like feeding people to wild animals, having like gladiators war. And they got so desensitized over the years that now you're being entertained by death. And I can't help but think of Squid Games.
Oh, shoot.
And Hunger Games.
I forgot about.
I just can't help but think like at some point in time, we are going to get back to that place where people are being entertained by actual death. On social media, we are getting so desensitized to death and to like watching death on a screen where it's like we don't even think about the soul. Even the fact that like someone can tragically die. Okay, for the CrossFit Games, Lazar Ducic, he was a Christian. He was an awesome guy. He died at the games 2 years ago. He drowned in a swimming event. And they kept it going on because, like, in their minds, they're like, he would have wanted the games to go on. He would have wanted. And I'm like, I think he would have wanted the thing to break out into a worship sesh or something. Like, but in their minds, it's so important to continue on that you had people, like, dealing with the most tragic heartache of their life. Because CrossFit Games are really tight. There's only 30 males and 30 females that make it. And I'm having revelation even though I'm saying this because it's called like the CrossFit Games and it's like the games of the gladiators. Like he died and they continued it on. And then the founder of CrossFit was on an interview the other day and he's like, yeah, whatever that guy's name was, you know, and like no respect because like so much emphasis has been put into the production that you forget there's human souls. And so now we look to these people as almost as gods with their like figure and their physique and stuff of like you become not even human. Where you're like freaking, that was the part that stood out to me the most in the Michael Jackson movie.
Why would you ever want to put someone through that? Brennan.
Oh, because one of my dreams is to coach somebody in the CrossFit Games, but we would do it in a holy way. Lazar was a great guy.
Stop that.
But one of the things, babe, that really stuck out to me the most in the Michael Jackson was when he would be coming on stage and the women would be like screaming and crying and just freaking out. And it's like, that's a man. Like it's a man. And I used to have that same thing in me. Like when I would get around celebrities where something would rise up and like, oh, I have to meet them. So I have to put myself, and the Lord's like delivered me of that recently. But I remember like that feeling of like being around certain people. Like if Justin Bieber's to walk by you in the store, like what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like it's a crazy thing what we do with people.
Yeah.
And so what are
you going to do?
What am I going to do?
I would ask him where he got his peaches. I'm just kidding.
You're so dumb.
Down in Georgia, right? Wait, is that bad? Is that like a bad reference? Did I just quote something bad?
No, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure
Like
it
the
has an
fruit?
innuendo or something.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
sure it does.
censor that out.
The peach emoji. All right. So then let's continue on with agenda. So I want to explain. So like I was saying, they might not set out to mold you in a certain direction, but that is what eventually happens with all entertainment. And
Yeah.
so here's a trajectory of entertainment, how it goes. You have Rome with the Colosseum games, which is propaganda, they're entertaining to influence worldview and ideologies. That's what Rome is doing. So like Juvenal said, you give them bread and circuses, you can do things behind and it's not just distraction, it's also propaganda to influence the way you think. And we've all are subject to this. The amount of perversion and lust that is in young men is highly, highly influenced by not just pornography, but also the entertainment industry and the way that they sexualize things.
There's too much at everyone's fingertips.
Right.
Or sight.
Yep.
There's too much at sight.
Yep.
Like back then, like you had your village.
Yep.
You would go out of your village, whatever.
Yep.
Or like the Greeks, obviously.
Yep.
They would have different sites.
Yep. So then you go to the 1930s and they get radios in every home, and this is how Hitler was so successful, because he controlled the media. I'm reading to the girls right now. It's called A Father's Promise. It's a book that my mom read to me when I was young. It's a historical fiction about a kid who was half Polish, half Jewish, and ended up escaping and all this stuff. It's a really good book. But because I'm like, I just want to instill my girls with truth. Like I want them to like know like the real history and things like that. I'm really grateful my mom did that with like biographies and things. And so in this, the first thing that the Germans do when they come into Poland is like get rid of, like confiscate all the people's radios and stuff. And so it's like they know you can, what's being televised, what's being what's the word I'm looking for, produced, like it that can severely. So then we have the 1950s where TVs get into everyone's home. Every living room has a TV.
I'm so glad you're doing this because that's my mind.
Yep. And then we have the 2000s. You have internet. Okay. Internet, and now everyone has access to World Wide Web. Okay. And then you
Except
have
for us with dial up.
and then you have the 2010s. You have phone. So now you have entertainment in your pocket. Not only do you have to go to the radio and everybody gather around, or the TV in the living room, now you have entertainment in your pocket. And then we have the 2020s. You have the algorithm, which the algorithm learns you. It learns you. It knows you, and it feeds you reels and
what you want right now.
Mm-hmm.
It feeds you what you want and how you think right now. Right now.
But it also, I mean, it's how the political parties are so divided, like more than ever.
It definitely is distracting.
Yeah.
Like I got on the other day and I'm trying, like my goal right now is to not use my phone. I can check it after 10 a.m. and then I can like for like emergency, like close quarters, like people that live down the street and are like trying to contact me. I'll check it for that. But then if I'm planning anything or catching up with someone, it has to be after 7 p.m. Because if I like get onto anything and then there's like any sort of topic being had or any sort of communication throughout my day, and then I'm on Instagram and then boom, an ad pops up and then like there's a discount. I want to save money. I've been needing it. Just
well,
like
it's crazy
gets
how
me
the
into
enemy
this other area that I do not need to be in.
It gives a foothold to the enemy. I mean, I knew I wasn't supposed to get on social media yesterday because I was working on like writing and reading and just different things. And I got on for a split second. And I felt this like, don't do it.
Yeah,
but I like
same.
pushed through and did it. And the first thing I saw was that hidden penny of terror death. And I was just like, it wrecked me. Like, it was just like, because I had watched that podcast with her 3 months ago and my heart just broke for her on that podcast.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't ready for that level of like emotional disruption. Because I'm like trying to be present with the kids. I'm like, I have a house and it was
like,
just, and that's where the desensitization comes.
Which might be okay, like in your hours.
So,
like that might have been okay, especially even for this podcast,
well,
like
no,
after 7 p.m.
But this is where
right?
desensitization comes in. If I didn't have discipline around social media and I'm being subjugated to that information on a daily basis, it desensitized me where I can see an ad like that, or not an ad, but a reel or whatever, and it not affect me.
Yeah.
But because I have been operating in more discipline in those areas of not falling into consumption, with social media, my heart is like softer to where like something like that, like I woke up messed up.
Yeah.
Like I woke up like it was wreaking havoc because I'm like, and I know this isn't the right way of thinking, but this is how the enemy accessed me. It was like, you should have prayed harder for her. Like after watching, because like my heart just like broke for her when I saw that like
same.
interview. And now to hear like the death, and I'm just like, man, that like when I hear about like celebrity deaths and then I see the way like TMZ is just like producing things to get view, I'm like, this is disgusting.
Yeah.
The world that we live in is absolutely disgusting. And they might act like they're, you know, they might act like it's affecting them or whatever. And I'm not going to judge the people, but a lot of the like the ads that you like, even the titles on YouTube and stuff that you're seeing, they draw people in. They're using her death to get views. And that's just the most disgusting thing I could ever think of. You get what I'm saying?
Well, the whole thing about the industry is using.
Yeah.
It's all about using.
Yeah. So continuing on, the thing that, so this is what, with Rome, what they kind of like,
You were too.
yeah, I know. But I want to get back. What Rome introduced to the world with entertainment, because up until that point, it's like fables, it's storytelling. There wasn't like manipulation happening with it. So what they learned is when you occupy attention, you can channel emotions, you can normalize values, and you can command ideologies.
That's insane.
And so then when you think about Satan's agenda, Satan wants attention because attention leads to formation. What you fix your eyes on, you become.
That's true, because I heard this quote the other day that was like, life is 99% attitude. You get to choose it.
Yeah.
Kind of fun. But in that, most people rely on their emotions and how they feel and honestly their attitude. Even in that quote, it's like, do you though? Like, do you get to choose it? It's like, well, we can if we're focusing on the truth and we are abiding in him, like he is the vine, we are the branches. Then like the fruit of peace and the fruit of joy will be produced through that. But if you're just like trying to focus on something yourself with your own like power or like being led by your emotions, you can't. And then that's when like the agenda and the industry, it's like poking at each emotion.
Well,
It pokes at each emotion in your body. I don't know if this is making sense.
no, it is. I think I can bring some clarity. Like when you, the stat I saw the other day was 95% of your thoughts are subconscious.
Yeah.
And so you aren't controlling what you think of. And when you think your thoughts inform your actions inform who you are. And so if you can influence people's subconscious, then you're going to be operating out of something that you're not even aware of. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So me consuming and absorbing information, and so say like, you know, I mean, there's some really cool testimonies out there of like people that were really liberal or something like that, and it's just because like most of the information that they're consuming. And when I say liberal, I'm not talking like Republican versus Democrat. I'm talking like when you are about like really devastating like liberal ideologies that are harmful for people, people get manipulated into that way of thinking based on what they're consuming. And so then like, and it happens subconsciously. So it's not like, oh, I set out to think this way, so I start consuming this information because I want this information. But that's how intentional we have to be with our consumption and our thought life. Mm-hmm. Like we really, like what the Lord kind of showed me this morning, because I kind of fell into some like heaviness and whatnot. The Lord was like showing me like, you really have to fix your eyes on me in order to not fall victim to the schemes of the world. Like it's just getting so gnarly, like spirit realm and physical realm, that your eyes have to be fixed on Jesus in order to make it through this life unscathed.
No, that's so true. That's so true, because also when Jesus left us, he left the Holy Spirit, like the helper. And so if we're being led by emotions, we're not allowing the helper in. And if we don't have a discipline of reading his word, then that makes it almost impossible.
Yeah.
It goes hand in hand. I was just talking to the girls about this, how, okay, if he's the vine and we're the branches, and then I drew a picture of us being connected to him, and then I erased it, and then there's just like these twigs floating. It says how we can do nothing apart from him. And then I explained how the fruits of the Spirit, like when you're connected to him, you'll start to produce the peace, the joy. But then I was like, how do you connect to him? Like, how would Dea connect to him? And Dea's like, read my Bible. I'm like, yeah. Worship, yeah.
Through spiritual disciplines. Like,
yeah. So like you have to have those because then like the fruit starts to be produced. But if you don't have those and you're not connected to him, you're just like these twigs.
His yoke is easy and his burden is light. So like being yoked with him is, for anyone that doesn't know the yoke analogy, it's a piece of wood that goes over one ox and another ox, and it connects the two oxes together, and they're meant to keep the same pace, so one's not pulling more. And so when we're yoked with Jesus, he'll be directing our path, and so we have to stay at his pace of grace. And it's really easy to get out of that. And so I think what, like, kind of in conclusion here, you bringing up the vine dresser, it's really good. What branches are not producing fruit right now in your life, and what is God wanting to trim? Like, is he wanting to take out secular music, entertainment? Is he wanting you to just stop numbing so much on reels? Like, what does your downtown look like? What does your downtime look like?
Yeah, what is disciplining my imagination?
Ooh.
What you are repeatedly exposed to.
What's discipling your imagination? Wait, what did you say there?
Yeah, what's discipling your imagination?
What is discipling your imagination? That's
so we're
really
discipled
good.
by something.
It's just like if you it says like we should be on social media to be like a creator, not a consumer. But when you like consume too much, it takes away your creativity, where you just start regurgitating things you've already seen.
This is what's trending.
But there's something like original in each and every one of you listening. Like there's an original song.
Yeah.
There's original writings. There's like something original.
And I would say most creators are like dying to be the originator.
Yeah.
Which then there can be like idolization and self with that too.
Yeah.
But also what you repeatedly expose yourself to shapes you. So whatever you're like, anyone.
So what could that look like in your life? Keeping on entertainment. What could that like it doesn't have to be right now, but at some point in your life.
What could be shaping me right now? Instagram.
Okay.
Like think about if I'm sitting down.
Can I ask you this? Do you have a time that you can look back to of like, besides like high school days, maybe when we were walking with Christ, but it was like a little bit more lukewarm? Can you think of a time where you were being shaped by something and didn't recognize it until you were on the other side, and then you look back and you're like, wow, in the realm of entertainment?
Not in high school.
Not like when you're walking with Christ more. So
I mean, the whole time, like because even in that period of time, like our early marriage years, we were still like watching movies and listening to stuff.
For me, I think the one that doesn't seem atrocious that I was participating in would be sports. And it's like, well, how is sports informing you or whatever? But it was just such a distraction that I'm like not only watching like a 3-hour game, but then I'm also doing fantasy football. But then and it was always entertainment. It was amusement for me. And what that was doing was, even if it isn't necessarily like forming me into the image of Satan, it was not allowing for time for me to be formed by Christ.
Yeah, so it numbs you. It like puts you in like
and then I get so addicted to that rush where then the Bible seems boring.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's like these quick fixes, these dopamines that we get from entertainment, because that's what entertainment is doing. It's playing upon dopamine. And it's keeping you coming back because you're liking what it's feeding you. But the thing is, with quick fix dopamine, it's not long lasting. So you have to keep returning. Whereas like the word of God is living and active, and Jesus is a wellspring of living water. Yeah. And so like the only time we don't run dry, or we don't feel like where we get into that place of like dissatisfaction or like discontentment, is when we're reliant on Jesus. Like what if Jesus was your entertainment?
Yeah.
What would that look like? Like, what if writing music, like journaling with Jesus, your secret place. Like, what if that got you more excited than turning to Instagram Reels? Like, what would your life look like? Oh my goodness, I'm so glad I thought of this. David Wilkerson, one of my heroes, David Wilkerson, he
You make me laugh.
we just need a little, physical touch during it.
Are you
Everyone's
there?
like,
Are you still there?
were you tracking? It looked like you were zoning out.
I was trying to think of like a more recent thing for me.
Let me share this thing about David Wilkerson. I'm reading David Wilkerson's book right now, Cross and Switchblade. Highly recommend. One of my heroes. I think my mom went to one of his services when she was like pregnant with me, and she used to get his newsletter, and so he's always been a hero of mine. And here's the other thing, like with entertainment, we have these heroes like Spider-Man and Superman and James Harden and Steph Curry and whatever. It's like, what if our heroes really were Paul and Peter and David Wilkerson and like these great Mike Signorelli?
But your community shapes you too, whether you like it or not. Okay. So say you aren't like on Instagram or you're not in that, you're being entertained by your community.
That's good. Entertainment by like going out. And because it's like when it's not edifying to God.
Because I was like, could I be entertained by now if I'm not in that? And I was like gaining peace. I'm always like striving and wanting to read the word, but then it's so busy and then you're like, oh no, I can't. And then I'm like, can I just...
So you're getting entertained by your schedule.
Entertained by just my schedule and then the thought of like obtaining that time, that peace.
Yeah, because what was the original definition? Keeps you occupied. Yeah. Enter tenere, Latin word, to hold together or to keep occupied. So like what's keeping your attention occupied? Because in reality... That's not bringing life.
Like, we always need time to be with the Father, but in reality, you can be with the Father in multiple ways.
Okay.
Like worship, evangelizing. So maybe, like, I'm more in the, like, evangelizing in the sense to my kids.
Okay.
Instead of trying to obtain the peace, I'm being entertained by, like, fantasy in my mind.
The other thing
romanticizing Jesus is bad.
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Oh,
I'm having ADD.
Babe,
hold on. This is great.
Another podcast.
We should have a whole just rapid fire.
Another podcast. Okay,
no, but can you think about that?
I was on this
because I want to romanticize him, and have my candle and everything.
Oh, have your candle in your coffee,
possible.
and like you make Jesus like a.
Then you become a mom, and you're
figment, like a what is it called? A pigment of your imagination.
It can be great when you're like
figure your imagination.
Single, but then when you're looking back on that.
All right, I got to get through this. Hold on, I have two things. Listen. Gosh. Teen Challenge. Have you heard of Teen Challenge? Teen Challenge. Everyone's heard of Teen Challenge if you've like been a part of church and things, because it's like the most successful besides, the 12-step program like AA of getting guys out of addiction or women out of addiction. And it's all over the world. Hundreds of thousands of people have been like set free, maybe millions from addiction from this program. And if you don't know how it originated, David Wilkerson Jr. was a small town pastor in Illinois. Normal guy, lived a consecrated life, but would entertain himself with TV for 2 hours every night. One night he gets convicted. What if I was to pray for 2 hours instead of watch TV? He didn't want to give it up because he enjoyed it. But then he challenged himself and he was like, you know what? I'm going to list this in the paper. And if God wants it to sell within the first 30 minutes, I'll get a call. And if not, I'm going to keep it. He gets a call from someone on the 29th minute. He sells this TV. He then dedicates himself to praying for 2 hours every night. One night he's praying and he's feeling drawn towards, he has this holy discontentment where he just feels like he's not where he's supposed to be. And so he gets drawn to Life magazine. He opens Life magazine to this page about 7 boys who brutally murdered someone, and David Wilkerson's heart broke for these boys. And God spoke to him and said, go love on this generation. So he packs up his family and he moves to New York and he becomes an inner city pastor in Times Square. Now Times Square Church. Rich Wilkerson Jr., who's a podcast, like is a byproduct of, him, then his brother being saved through David, all the different things. And so all of that happened from him putting down entertainment and dedicating himself to prayer. Teen Challenge wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for David Wilkerson.
That's so convicting. And I've had tastes of that because when we have put down like everything, like when we didn't have music, TV, or Instagram for a year, I was like, we were very productive.
Yeah.
In a really good way.
So, yes, we lost power over the last couple of days. The girls have got we had a staycation the last 2 weeks, and so we kind of just like have been having a lot of fun family time. And then we've also been like, watching the girls like the Outdoor Boys and like Adventure Agents and stuff like that on YouTube. And so we'll been watching stuff during the day more than normal. And so the girls have kind of got used to that a little bit. And when I say more than usual, it's like maybe 2 hours, like at the end of the day or whatever. It's not like a copious amount, but even in that, we lose power. They keep asking to watch shows. I'm like, guys, can't, the power's out. So then yesterday, most peaceful morning I've had in a very long time, where I read to the girls. I read Father's Promise, a book that I was talking about on Pull-In with the Nazi takeover. And then they both went and got their books out, already read for like 2 hours just on the couch. And it felt peaceful. And so it's like the very thing, entertainment, there's this lie with entertainment that it's going to bring you more peace. But the thing is, it actually makes your kids more restless. It makes your mind more restless. And so you think you're numbing and you think you're like decompressing, but in reality, it's making your situation worse.
Well, yeah, but I was just thinking on this on a deeper level of like, are we their entertainment sometimes? Like, remember?
We're the reliant on something to bring stimulant.
Reliant on us.
Yeah. I think it's a whole vortex of stimulants. We don't recognize in our current generation, like us as millennials, our kids as Gen Alpha, throw Gen Z in there as well. Like
that's
whatever.
Why they have stim toys for everyone now.
Yeah, we're all just so used to being overstimulated.
I'm over here like.
Yeah, boredom is like, what's the quote you said with boredom?
I can't remember. That's
boredom.
That's the issue
you said
about not sleeping.
Anyone who's created anything great did it in a bored state or something. You said something along the lines of that.
Oh, I said you can't create anything great unless you're bored. You're literally being filled by something until you can have that boredom. That's what I told the girls the other day. And now they like being bored as of yesterday, but they're probably going to hate it by tomorrow.
It's hard. Like, you'll have withdrawals.
Yeah.
Like, can we be real? You'll have withdrawals. It's just like fasting. It's just like anything. Like, it's going to be hard for you to give it up. So I would just love for everyone, we're closing up right now. We're at 1:30. Just pray. And we pray for you right now that the Prince of Peace would visit you and that you'd have peace in this area. That wouldn't feel like something that's like, oh crap, I've given up 10 years of my life and now I got to revert and I got to cut everything. Cause that's something, when I was growing up, what I was sharing about like getting rid of the TV often, it was kind of like a roller coaster ride because we'd have these moments of like, we got to get rid of everything. And then everything would come back and there wasn't like stability. So give up something that you're going to be able to maintain. Like I think secular music is totally doable. Like,
yeah. And even when like God called me to do it, it was like I was going to do it for 30 days and then I just didn't go back because I didn't want to. And it wasn't like I cannot.
If you got to wean off a little bit, like I've been really loving like listening to books or reading at night. And so like find a good, if you don't want to listen to something that's going to, crazy stimulate you, like, how hermeneutics or like something like, very heady at night, then find some like really cool biography on like St. Augustine or, Joan of Arc or like just something that's going to like historical.
Yeah, that's one thing, like you being raised on all these historical martyr stories has really made you be the type of person that's like, oh, well, like no power, whatever, no food, whatever. You're like, it'll be fun. Like we'll survive. Like,
yeah,
you've always had like the mindset of it could be worse.
I
which
think
I
there's
hated in the beginning because I'm like, how much worse could it be?
I think there's this fear with parenting that you're going to expose your kids to too much too soon. And I just like disagree because like when I think of how the Hebrew people would have raised their kids, like they have people dying in the street. So like, why are we going to hide them from what's happening in the world? And so like, I'm all about kids' innocence, but it's like, how about you be more concerned with their innocence from like the spirit of perversion and lust and them like watching like really gnarly, like, and it doesn't even have to be that gnarly. Like we didn't even get into this, but there's a movie I really liked growing up called A Kid Called Danger, or A Kid Named Danger. Me and Sean loved it. But it's got this scene where the kid has to hide under the bed, and they're like 10-year-old kids, these actors, and he's hiding under the bed, and then a girl comes home from school because he's trying to find something in her room, like these diamonds, and she comes home, and then she's like undressing, and it has her like pants dropping like while he's under the bed. And like, here's the thing, like, that as an adult, it might not seem like that big of a deal, but when you're a kid in your imagination, like those kind of things are perverting your mind, and you're starting to wonder like, oh, what does that look like? Oh, what if like, and it's like, this is corrupting you. And so I'd much rather my kids be aware of like martyrdom and like church history and like people that are being, persecuted in China than like have them exposed to that. So it's like, if you're worried about exposure, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, like, but I think it's so like hidden.
Yeah. Ask God to reveal it, because there's a lot.
It's in everyday life. Like perversion's just in everyday life. All sorts of like circumstances with like kids and stuff.
I think we've gone pretty long, but I really wanted to touch on perversion in this one, because I think like you getting numb to things and that influencing, and then that influencing the way you perceive reality and your attraction. So maybe we'll just do a separate podcast on perversion that I think will be really good, and how that kind of shapes and forms your attraction and who and what you're attracted to.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We'll definitely have to do one, because even if it's not like sexual perversion, it's like, okay, what I'm watching is shaping what I'm attracted to. Like Disney, like a certain like Disney type, princesses, a certain list, that kind of thing. I liked the underdog. Just kidding.
Bad boys.
Yeah. So just change.
Next time, drop perversion in the chat for.
Don't drop. Just attraction. Attraction. Drop something to. Let us know if you'd like us to talk about this.
Hey, come up with a code.
I wish Sam was here for this one. It'd be fun. She'd be like, seriously.
She'd be what?
Sam's so fun with podcasts. I miss her.
She is, I know. Yeah.
And Cletus. Come back.
Sometimes I go back and watch some of the old ones.
We got the other microphones for you.
Riley, dude, don't tempt them.
I'm joking.
You're being,
okay,
you're influencing them. You're shaping them in the wrong direction.
Just miss you.
Dude, see, you've been formed by nostalgia of movies like The Notebook, and now you want them to like come back. And do you see how it's influencing you right now?
No, that's
I'm just joking.
No.
I'm just trying to make it like a crazy reach.
If you want to reach, you could do like, like you watch Outer Banks, and they're like a family bond, and they're like a gang, and now you want the gang to come back and reunite. Like, you could reach into that. That could be a thing.
Dude, it also has you like craving utopia on Earth, which is just impossible.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of shows coming out. Like there's a show called Utopia and things, and it's like
I thought there's been a show called Utopia, right? It's like old, right?
I don't know.
Or it's not like, isn't there a kids Petopia? No, Utopia. Zootopia. That's like where everybody can do what they want.
The Lego movie. Everything is awesome. No, but it's like
world.
Yeah, it just shapes. We're supposed to eagerly await the return of Christ. Like we're not supposed to try to create this life's gonna be hard, guys. You got to say no to your flesh. You got to say no to entertainment. There's a lot of things, and it's like we're in a battle. Like we're in a spiritual battle, so it's not easy. So buckle up.
If it ain't you and Jesus and trials, but like an extreme peace, then something's wrong.
Yeah. All right, we are yapping.
Seriously.
We're yapping now.
Oh my gosh.
All right, how are we closing this thing out? Do you want to pray for everybody?
Let me read this verse, and then you can pray. Okay. Psalm 101:3. I will set nothing wicked before my eyes. I hate the work of those who fall away. It shall not cling to me.
Let me read this verse.
You want to explain that too?
Philippians 4:8. Whatever is true, honorable, just, pure, lovely. Fix your eyes on that. Focus on that. So spot the lie, observe the truth, recognize that you are being shaped by what you consume and ingest, and protect it, and protect your kids, and protect your home, and protect your friends and family. Share the truth. And
ask yourself, what am I being shaped by when my guard is down?
Yeah. It's not a conspiracy that there are agendas. I've seen some like leaked Disney Zoom calls where they're just pushing, they're pushing, activism of a certain lifestyle. And it's because the person that was in a high position had 2 children that were in that lifestyle. And so it's like, there are agendas that are pushed and that are forming the way. And it's not that we're not conspiracy theorists and we don't hate the people and we don't like try to just like call it out to non-believers. Like, you shouldn't be watching that. Everyone's going to be convicted in their own timing, but now you've heard, and hopefully now you're a little bit convicted, and now hopefully you'll go and change the way you live.
It's like we love the people, but we don't condone the sin. And that doesn't mean we treat anyone different. It's just, we're always going to be talking about truth, and we're always going to love everyone through that, and we're never going to give up. Like, I mean, that's just what we do. We keep loving.
Truth and love, they're both pretty important to Jesus.
Saying the truth.
Lord, thank you so much for this time. Thank you for each and every person listening. Pray you bless their minds right now, Lord, that you'd just speak life to them, that they would know exactly where to turn, that they wouldn't turn to the left or to the right, but they would just put their hands to the plow and continue forward. So if anyone's feeling burdened or heavy laden, Lord, that you would give them rest, and that, even just for the moms, I kind of have a heart for the moms that are just like, dude, how am I going to do this? And this sounds so hard to like protect what goes in my kids' eye gates, and I want to veg out on reels because it calms me. Like, would you just give them the strength and the courage to make the decisions they need to make? And for our single people that have just been influenced by shows and by media, Lord, may you just show them the way that they've been shaped, and may they step out of agreement for that, and may the dads lead by example and not numb with sports or with any entertainment, but to just put on the armor of Christ and put on the mind of Christ and walk in the fullness of the authority that they're called to. In your name, Jesus. Amen.
Yeah, Father God, I just pray that you just give everyone a heavenly lens, that whatever mindset or way of thinking they had before that wasn't of you, that you just rewrite it, that they can just completely surrender to you in all areas, but it not be a big deal. That in that moment of surrender, I don't know what to do, Lord, I surrender, that you comfort them and that you let them know that you've got this, and show them that you've got this. And so it's not something that they have to figure out, Lord. Just help everyone come to a moment of surrender, a moment of real peace and real joy in that surrender too. And we thank you for that, Lord. Amen.
Amen. Well, love you all so much. Salute, and we'll see you on the next one. Like, subscribe, send to somebody that you think needs it. Like, for real. Don't be worried about, they're going to think I'm judging them or whatever. Just send it to whoever you feel led to send to, and drop a comment with, what you want to hear next, and any guests you want to see next that are in Hawaii, or if we need to fly them out and you want to pay for their flights. I'd love to get Sam and Cleet out here. All right, love you all.
Love you.